guys, let's do a quick daily outlook. So far, so good. Everything's playing out according to plan for the most part yesterday. We got the rejection at the point 0.5, which is very common. I mean, when we have a major swing like this from that B down to the C here, once we hit that point 0.5, you have algorithms that kick in and short. And what they do is they normally, what I've noticed anyway, is they come in and they market short to defend that level. You don't even actually see the ask sitting in the order book there. They just come in and they market short, and then it causes a lot of selling pressure, and then you end up with a short-term reversal. And so that's what we got. We didn't hold on the trend line that I showed yesterday, but we held on the weekly resistance, which is now support. I turned that green here because we're above it. So we held well on that, had a little small wick through it, and then reacted nicely off that, which, yesterday we were looking at getting the reaction at the point 0.5, a retrace, and then a move up to the 618, and then a possible another retrace. So far, so good. We're reacting on these fib levels to the tick. Which is very typical for anybody that uses these fib retracements. What I think we could do here is it really depends on Ethereum. Like I was talking about yesterday. Let's go over to Ethereum real quick. So Ethereum yesterday, we were right in here, and I drew this right here. Just it's inevitable that we were going to come up out of this. I've seen this pattern play out so many times now, where it's just, I mean, every time I've seen it play out, I actually haven't seen a pattern like this play out where we didn't take out this high, because it looks like a head and shoulders. When it breaks the left shoulder resistance there, it usually takes off. Is the same thing in 2019 I showed you yesterday with Bitcoin. It just moves very, very quick when it does this, and so I don't know that this is going to be done. One thing with Ethereum though, I'll go back out because I like to use the fib retraces. So one thing that I look at are the major fib retraces. So I'll come from the absolute high of 2017 bull market down to the low of the bear market, and make sure that you have it on log scale, because this is a pretty big move. So you can see we rejected at the 0.5, so that happened in 2019. That was our high for 2019 at the 0.5. Just happened to line up with that support right there that was now resistance. So, and then we came down. Now we're coming up to the 618. If I go back down to a lower time frame so we can see what's going on here, we're actually running into that 618, that yellow dotted line there. So are we going to be able to get through this? I'm not exactly sure. If we're going to play out like we did in Bitcoin on 2019, that pattern I showed you yesterday, it would make sense for us to just keep going up and getting above this trend line and go parabolic here. But we do have to get through that 618. I am aware of that. So if we do get any kind of stalling right here on Ethereum, I would expect that to reflect into Bitcoin, because Ethereum is really pulling up the market right now. It's really pulling up Bitcoin here, because Bitcoin did not look too terribly strong, after we broke out of this trend line, hit the 0.5 and rolled over to here. But as soon as Ethereum took off, Bitcoin spiked up, and now we're at the 618. So if Ethereum keeps going, what I expect is for Bitcoin to get above this $12,000 level that we were talking about yesterday, which is the last line of defense, mainly the last line of defense for the algorithms that are shorting here is the 618. You can also put the 707 on here. That's been respected a lot recently, so we can have somewhat of a range that we need to get through like that, which kind of lines up with the top of that resistance there, which would make sense. So if we do start to gather support and get through this, then Bitcoin could be heading up quite quickly. But if we're gonna stall right here and then have to come back down to the weekly support again before we make another go at it, just be aware that that's a possibility as well. So I've been long since we broke out here on that green candle above the weekly resistance, so I'm just holding my long now, and just waiting for any kind of further structure to play out, because we don't really have confirmation until we get above this red region right here between like 11,900 or like 12,000, maybe 12,050, somewhere in there. Once we really get above that, then I think that's when it's off to the races. Until then, we could pull back to the weekly support again. And so these are the two options I'm kind of looking for right now. And on a daily outlook, let's just go down to like a 15 minute or something. Not too much to do. I mean, whoops, we've coming off this 618 here, which would have been a nice scalp opportunity for anybody that's scalping. You know, these fib levels on a major move, like I just pulled this fib retrace on, are going to get respected very well. So you get a lot of good scalping opportunities, especially if you're trading on Digitex. You can take a couple ticks here and there off these reactions. And then at this point, you know, we just have to kind of see what kind of structure wants to form right here. It's kind of early after this big move. We don't know exactly what kind of structure we're going to get. If we're going to gather support and continue up, or if we're going to kind of meander down, back down to like trendline support or weekly support down here. And so we'll just have to keep an eye on it throughout the day. But I'm still got a bullish bias just because Ethereum is just so strong. And you know, I really want to see Ethereum above that 618 right there at 473, because I think that'll really signal to the market that we're going to be super bullish. So this is what I'm keeping an eye out for today. So stay tuned in the Discord. If I see any small time frame intraday setups, I'll post them in the live trade examples. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.